Hey guys, Mr. Decker here. Welcome back, welcome back. We are in our Unit 2 Web Development on Code.org series of videos. We've made it all the way to Lesson 11, and on this one we are working on CSS Classes, Cascading Style Sheet Classes. Alright, let's start coding, shall we? So, using classes, this waterfall page uses classes to make the images at the top of the page a different style from the images in the main part of the page. Okay, cool. Under do this, it says, find the CSS rule set in the style.css file. Okay, so let's look for that. CSS rule set that makes the images at the top smaller than the ones in the main part of the page. So here are those images at the top that are smaller than the images down here in the main part of the page. So we have .top dash img here, top image, okay. So I'm assuming that's what we're referring to with step 1, so we have found that. And step 2 says add a new rule to one of the classes and check to see that it only affects the images in that class. So let's make a new rule. Here. Right now for the top images, these 4 images, we have height, border radius, and margin rules. So let's add to this rule set with border style. And let's use solid. Where are you, solid? Down at the bottom. And yeah, it did that, and it left these other waterfall images alone. Very cool. So this dot notation here, and then let's take a look at the HTML. We have image class equals top dash img. So I'm assuming that the dot is an indicator that we're using a class for this rule set. And the name of the class is included there after the dot. And then over here, you're saying, hey computer, I'm putting an image on the screen and I want it to be in the top dash image class. Okay, and I guess that links it with the style sheet in addition to the link tag up there in the head. Okay, interesting. All right, let's move on to the next bubble. So, with this one, this page describes the 4 ghosts from Pac-Man and Mrs. Pac-Man, but only one of them is styled with a special class. Pac-Man's a little dated. From the 80s and 90s, it was way more popular back in my day, right? But I digress. Let's jump into it. So under do this, it says look through the code to see how Blinky class works. So starting at line 13 here, we have image class equals Blinky inside the image tag. And then down here, this H2 has a Blinky, and the paragraph here has a Blinky. So apparently we can use this with different elements. Oh, interesting. So one of the things I just realized, you put the class inside the tag, the start tag. Neat. Okay. So you do that for the regular HTML tags. Okay. Okay. I see what we're doing here. And let's see. We look through the code. We see how it works. Let's go over to style. There should be a dot Blinky, and there is. And those are all the rules for dot Blinky. Yeah, Blinky, Clyde, Inky, and Pinky. Man, this is taking me back. It's taking me back. Okay. And now step 2, add a new class attribute in the index.html file for each of the other 3 ghosts. Goodness, we're going to be on this bubble for a minute, y'all. For a minute. Okay. So Blinky is ready to go. Inky needs a rule set as well. The thing that we can do here to be consistent, let's go over to the style sheet. So we could potentially just like, you know, a little bit of Control C action there, Control V. We don't need 2 blinkies. I'm gonna fix this. But inky, and then instead of red, we could use, what color is that? That like teal? And then let's see what that ends up looking like. Let's go back here, and then for the inky stuff, image space class inky, and then I'm gonna copy that. Work smarter, not harder. Put that in there. Oh, it didn't like that, did it? Why didn't you like that? Dude. Oh, I see. I see what I did wrong. Control Z. Got to put it inside of the H2 tag. Control V. Space. That got that. And then for the paragraph, space, Control V. There we go. So teal is not quite right. Let's go to HTML color names. Take a look at what would be better. Aqua. Okay, maybe aqua. Inky, are you aqua? Let's see. Where did my inky? So instead of teal, let's try aqua. Yep. Perfect. Woohoo! Okay, let's keep going. So we'll do this same process again for pinky. Control C, create some space, Control V. This is when it's going to be dot pinky. There you are, pinky. And pinky is pink. Imagine. Imagine. All right, and then down here, we're going to do class pinky. We're going to copy that inside the H2 space Control V, inside the paragraph space Control V, and then pinky needs to be pink. So let's go back to pinky and put pink right there and hope for the best. That looks good. And then down here for Clyde, and Clyde is orange. Good old Clyde. I had an Uncle Clyde, my dad's brother. Alright, so in the style sheet, let's make a Clyde, dot Clyde, Control C, Control V, dot Clyde, and go ahead and change that pink to orange. He might be the darker orange. Well, let's just use the regular orange for now. Back over here, inside the image tag space, we want to have class equals quotation marks Clyde. Whoop, not Clued, but Clyde. There we go. And then, okay, sweet. It's working. It's working! The H2 space, oh, whoops, Control Z. My bad, I forgot to copy this part of it, Mr. Decker. Alright, there we go. Control V. Should be working, and it is. And then space, Control V. Ah, brilliant. Brilliant. I love it. Amazing. We did good work here. Everybody clap. And we move on. Let's go to bubble 4. And let's continue practicing using classes with this article on different young adult novels. Under do this, it says give each heading and paragraph tag class attribute names. Every paragraph and heading, my goodness. Okay, wait, I suppose we can do that. Give each heading and paragraph tag class attribute names. Okay. The first novel's heading and paragraph has already been done as an example. Okay, I'm glad we have an example to go by, because I honestly, even on the teacher level of this, I wasn't exactly sure what it was intending I do. Okay, so Hunger Games here. Great series of books, by the way. So H2 class equals Hunger Games. Okay. And then the paragraph tag that goes with it, class equals Hunger Games. Okay, so then we have Fault in Our Stars we need to do, the Divergent series, Maze Runner, and then finally Harry Potter. My goodness, y'all. This lesson's asking a lot of us. Let's just be real. All right, number 2 there, go into the style sheet and give each novel heading and paragraphs a different style, including color, font, border style, border code, background. Okay, we can do all that. Okay, on to the style sheet then. Well, let's first start here and go ahead and put in our class names in these tags. So space, class, we'll just call this one fault. And then we'll do that again here, space, class, fault. For divergent, class, click, div, class, click, div. Gets a little tedious. For Maze Runner, class, click, maze, class, click, maze. I'm working really fast. All right. Harry Potter. For Harry Potter, class. Hey, bruh. Hey, there we go. Class, click. Harry. Let's not overcomplicate it. Harry. Okay. Now, if only we can remember all of these. So let's start with Fault in Our Stars up here. So style.css, let's head over there. We're going to do similar things that we did before. Control C, Control V, and instead of Hunger Games, it's Fault. But we need to change some stuff here. So border color for this one, instead of crimson, let's use, I feel like I watched a movie for Fault in Our Stars, maybe, kind of, sort of. I have not read this book. Border color, let's just go with gold, since we're talking about stars here. And then background color, we'll change background color RGB. Actually, background color, let's just go with something simple here. Yellow, semicolon. Whew, that's bright, but we'll roll with it. Maybe we should do gold here again. Maybe pale goldenrod. There we go. Okay, and then right here, that's the color of the text, and we will just leave that. Although I do want to change the font family from fantasy. Not really a fan. Use cursive. And I'm going to change Hunger Games to cursive as well, because fantasy, for my old man eyes, are hard. It's just hard to read. It's difficult. And then we're going to do another one for div. Control C there, create some space. Control V, change this to div. And then let's change some colors here. We're going to change the gold to maybe just blue. I'm not sure what colors we should be associating with this book series, but we're just going to roll with blue. And then instead of pale goldenrod, we'll use like light blue. And then Maze Runner, let's create the rule set for Maze Runner. I believe I just called that maze. Keep it simple. And then for Maze Runner, I'm going to go with green. And then here we'll use green, yellow. Looks great. And then for Harry Potter, let's get that rule set in there. And I just called this Harry. We'll change the color to what house should we go with here? What do you guys think? We've already used green, blue, yellow, and red. So all, oh no, all of the houses are already represented on this page. Green, blue. So perhaps maroon. And then we'll use some kind of orangey yellow. Oh, whoops. Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z. There we go. Background color, let's change that to burnt. No. Dark. Is there a dark yellow? Dark yellow? No. No? HTML color names. What's a yellow I could use that would make sense? There's not like a... Maybe gold there. Makes sense. Let's just use gold. 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 Perfect. All right. Okay. Whew. Whew. All right, so we did change the font. We changed the colors. We did not change border styles. Each one needs a different border style. Come on, man. Okay, Hunger Games. Border style. Where's that border style? We'll keep that at ridge. We'll change this one to solid. We'll change this one to dotted. And I feel like there's a dash looking one. Yeah, dashed. And we'll leave the last one as ridge as well. Okay, we did that part. Background color changed, border color changed. I didn't change the text color, but the text color just should be black because. And then add any other stylings. I think it looks great as it is. Let's continue. Okay, we've got some practice to do. So using classes, your favorite month. All right, this page lists information on the different months of the year. Under do this, it says create a class for your favorite month so that it looks different from the others. I'm going to go with January. It's at the very top. Didn't have to look for it very hard. And let's create a class. Oh. Let's create a class, thank you very much, called Jan. And then class. Oh. Jan again. And then create a new rule set for your favorite month and use that at least 3 properties to style it. So style. Okay, so let's do it under the note. Dot Jan. And we need 3 rules. So we'll go with color. And we'll use some aqua. No, we will not use aqua. Oof. Okay. January, what do we think about? Icy stuff, maybe a dark. Ooh, dark cyan. Yeah, let's go with that. Okay. And then for let's go with background color. And let's use aqua for the background color. And then let's put a border around that. Border style. And let's just use solid. There we go. It's beautiful. I love it. Alright, let's finish there. And we're going to debug some classes, so let's figure out what the problem might be. This page has a separate class for each of the 4 seasons, but the autumn class isn't working. So winter works, spring works, summer works, autumn, poor little autumn down there, not working. So it looks like it's changing the text color. We can do that. So class autumn. Why isn't it working? It's there. So let's go look at the style sheet, see if the problem's over here. Autumnum. Okay, I think they just spelled that wrong. Let's make sure. Yay! We did it, guys. We did it. We spelled autumn right. Okay, let's finish there. So sensitive about the spelling. Gosh. All right, debug images. Okay. Each group of images should have slightly different style for their borders. A slightly different style for their borders, rather. It looks like there are multiple bugs with the classes for these images, preventing this from happening. Well, go away, bugs. That's how we deal with it. Let's just get some bug spray, make the bugs stay away. Look through both the HTML and the style sheet to find and fix all the bugs. There's more than one bug. Okay. So each group of images should have a slightly different style for their borders. None of them have any borders, but they do have classes. Why did they spell Greece with only one E here? And it's lowercase. Egypt is uppercase. Japan looks right. Okay, so let's hop over to style. .Egypt. Okay, so capital Egypt. There we go. That's fixed. Greece, for whatever reason, was lowercase and was spelled wrong. But you know, we're fixing bugs, not fixing spelling. And then .Japan, we're missing a dot, and we had a capital J over on the HTML page. I'm the smartest man alive. Oh, I'm brilliant. We're brilliant, guys. We did it. Okay. I've never been to Egypt. I've never been to Japan, but I did spend a lot of time in Greece one summer between college semesters. Let's finish. Greece is really cool. Lots of good food, really cool things to see. That looks like Santorini there in that image. Went to Santorini. Santorini's awesome. I rode a donkey up a mountain. That was fun. Okay, haikus. This page has several different haikus. Do this. Choose one haiku and give it a special look by creating a class to style its paragraph, heading tags, and image. Okay. Use at least 3 CSS properties to style that special haiku. Which one is special to me? The example haiku doesn't have a picture, so we're not going to use that. We have a hummingbird, we've got an axolotl, we've got sushi, cloud dreams, and a gift. Let's go with the axolotl. Big fan. Okay, so let's create a class for our little axolotl guy. He's going to axolotl questions, right? All right. Class, click, class, let's just call it Axel, AXL. And then we'll do the same thing for the paragraph. Class, click, AXL. And then down here in the image tag, class, click, AXL. Again, nothing's happening yet. We'll make that happen over on the style sheet. So dot axl space curly braces. Let's start making some rules. Rules. All right. So let's use border style. Getting a little redundant with it, but you know, we're working on it. We're working on it. Let's use dotted semicolon. Did it update? Yes, it did. And then we'll use background color. You can roll with aqua again. We're using aqua a lot today. It looks good with the purple text. And then it wanted one more thing. Let's do a text align. And let's use center. See what that does. Okay, sweet. It's beautiful. I love it. We did a great job. Finish there. You guys, you know, you answer these 4 questions. These are your answers, not mine. Submit. And then on individual IDs, we're getting into the challenges. We're going to do A and B. Where are we at with time? We're doing good with time? We're doing great with time. Okay. You can also use the ID attribute to single out just one element for a rule set. Okay. Not sure what you mean by that, but I'm sure we'll discover through the process of doing this bubble. All right, do this. Look at the image element with the image ID notes. Okay, where are you? Where are you, image ID notes? Image ID notes, image ID notes. Where are you? There you are, line 12. Okay, I found you. All right, we found it, and notice the ID attribute. So yeah, ID equals notes. So instead of using a class, we're using an ID. In style.css, look at the rule set with the hashtag notes selector. Notice how it uses a hashtag instead of a period. So let's head over there. Where's our hashtag notes? There's that, there's that, there's that. Okay. Add a new image into the page from the available files and give it its own style. So I just need to define this. Okay. So where is that? Oh, this image. Okay. So they floated it to the right. They give it a width of 100 pixels. They give it a background color of white. And then they used a box shadow. That's cool. Okay. So add a new image and then give it its own style. All right. So new image. Let's look in here and see what images are already loaded. So we've got a drum set. We've got string instruments. Those look like cellos, maybe. Some brass instruments, some woodwind instruments, clarinets, oboes, that sort of thing. Okay. So we have these, okay, extra notes. Let's throw an extra notes in here because I believe all of these images, well, yeah, all of these are used. So we can choose from one of these. We'll use extra notes 3. Let's put it up here underneath the title, musical instruments, between musical instruments and a guide. So back over here, let's create some space here to put this image in. Image, source is going to be extra notes 3, I think is what I decided on, and then space, alt attribute, musical notes, and then we'll close that. Oh, there's our musical notes. Why did it show up right there? I don't know. So maybe that's not a good place to put it. Maybe let's put it above the H1. Let's see what that looks like. Control C. Get out of here. Get out of here. And then up here, create that space. Oh, it put it. All right, let's go over to the style sheet and we'll create, well, first here. Let's create that ID for it. Where'd I put it? Right here. Image ID. Let's call it B notes. Okay. And then we'll go down to style. Let's create our hashtag B notes rule set. Curly braces. Okay. So I want it. Is there a way to align an image? Because I want it to be centered. Align items. Let's try that. Center. Did that do anything? No. Okay. Maybe float is what we need. If I float it left, that moves it over there. If I... What does inherit do? Whoa. Okay. That at least does get it to the top of the page. I feel like I'm striking out right now with how I want this to go. Float. Left, right, none, or inherit. Those are the only options for float. How do I center an image? Be right back. All right, we're going to try something. Give it a margin of... I felt like, wasn't there a way to... Yeah, so let's do like 20px. Did nothing. Right? Yep. Let's try 200. Whoa. Nope. Okay. That was way too big of a number, obviously. Maybe 50? Nope. Why does it keep putting it over there? I just want it... I want it in the middle. Maybe... Okay, so... Nope. I don't want it over there. I want it up at the top. And that's where it is in my HTML code. All right, let's try something else here. We'll try to justify, center, semicolon, refresh, nope. And let's add one more thing to that. Display, flex, semicolon, still nothing. How do we do this, dude? How do we do it? I'm trying all these options from, so what I'm looking at right now is the CSS centering images info. Maybe we'll try this. Nope. Man. We tried that one. Let's try this one. B notes, Control V. Nope. I guess it just does not want to be centered. Let's try this one. Control C. Back over here. No again. I'm striking out. All right. I'm going to give up on trying to get that to be centered. Goodness. Okay. So let's put it in a different spot. Maybe just at the very bottom of the page instead of at the top. All right. Let's grab you. My goodness. Control V, refresh and save, head to the bottom. There it is. We'll just have you hang out down there and then give you some rules. So, wow, okay. Let's give you a border style. Double is fine. Let's use background color. And we'll go with Azure. All right. I didn't realize it was shaped like that. And then let's give it a new width. And let's go with 250 px semicolon. Look at that again. That did basically nothing. Let's make it 100 px. Okay, now it's kind of similar to this guy. I want to try this box shadow thing, but in reverse. So let's do minus, minus. See what that looks like. Okay, cool. Yay! Wow, we finally got around to doing something there. It was a little bit arduous, but we got there. All right. Yeah. Finish. Goodness gracious. Missing classes. Let's go. Challenge B. Missing classes. This website about different types of dances doesn't look quite right. Can you fix it? All right. Under do this, let's look at the style sheet to see different classes that are created but missing from the index page. Step 2 says figure out what HTML elements need which classes in order to make the web page look like the image below. Oh, goodness. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Okay. I'm going to pause. Getting a phone call. Thankfully, it was a quick phone call. All right. So we need to figure out what the HTML elements need which classes in order to make the web page look like the image. Okay. So, gosh. Okay. So even within the same subsection of the page, things are different. All right, let's dig in. We're going to try to get through this quickly but assuredly. Over on the style sheet, okay, we've already got some classes made. Bdance, Bdance P, Bdance L, Flamp, Flammel, Samba, and Sammel. All right. Okay. So I think what I'm doing then is figuring out, all right, so I'm applying these classes to elements on the page based on what's happening. So ballroom, dancing is probably B dance, okay. Hip hop and funk. Is that the flam? Hip hop and funk? No. So which one is ballroom? Worldwide Latin dance. Okay. I think I have an idea of what we need to do. Okay. Let's do the thing. Okay. So let's get the instructions out of the way. I feel like I've got a pretty good idea of what to do here. Alright, so for the H1 up at the top, I don't think we do anything with that or with this paragraph. It's right here where we start to work. So let's find that, turn the inspector on. So it's this H2, okay. Class, whoop, gotta spell class right. Equals, quotation marks. I think this one's going to be Samba. Okay, let's check. Yep. And then this image will be Samba P, class Samba P. We're getting there. This paragraph right here gets nothing. But the list will have a class. Class is going to be Samba L. Okay, we're on our way. And then down here on hip hop, this H2 is going to be B dance. Okay, and then this image class, let's see, I think that should be B-Dance P. Okay, that put the border around there. I'm going to turn my inspector off, that's getting annoying. And then this list, where'd you go? This list is going to be B-Dance L. All right, B-Dance L. And then we have Worldwide Latin Dance to work on. And that must be the flam. Flam. Okay. That should have updated, it did. And then image class is going to be flam P. Check it, yep. And then the list should be flam L. Let's check that. Okay, now let's check it against the instruction panel. Okay. Yes. Hip hop. Yep. And then worldwide dance. Latin. Yes. Hey, we did it. Okay. It was easier than I thought it would be, but still fairly complex. All right, cool. So that does that. Let's finish there. And that's it. If you want to add to your webpage, feel free. Okay. They stumped me with this lesson. All right, that's really good. Let's end there. See you next time.